On the second Tuesday of October, a woman pulled into my bay just after 4 in the afternoon, holding a folded piece of paper the way people hold something they already know they can't afford. Her SUV's right headlight had gone dim and slightly yellow, and some mornings it flickered when she hit a pothole on her way to work. She'd taken it to the dealership 2 days earlier. The service advisor walked her around the front bumper, shined a flashlight at the housing, and told her the whole assembly needed to come out. New headlight unit, new wiring connector, a programming fee, so the car's computer would recognize it, $318, parts and labor, and that was already the loyal customer discount. She didn't buy it, not because she knew anything about headlights. She says she just had that feeling you get when a number sounds too clean and too convenient at the same time. The kind of quote that answers a question nobody actually asked. So instead of signing anything, she drove straight from that dealership to my shop, handed me the same folded paper, and asked me one question. Is my headlight really broken? I popped the hood, traced the wiring back from the housing, and found exactly what I expected to find: a tired bulb sitting behind a lens that was still perfectly clear, nothing wrong with the housing and nothing wrong with the wiring behind it. I pulled an $18 bulb off my shelf, twisted the old one out, twisted the new one in, and had her pull the car up to the bay door so she could see it lit against the concrete. 4 minutes, maybe 5. She stood there with her arms crossed, staring at her own headlight, and asked me the question I hear more than almost any other in this business. Why did they tell me like I needed the whole thing? That's exactly what this video is about. My name is Bob Jones, and I've spent the better part of my working life with my hands inside somebody's engine bay. If this is your first time here, hit subscribe now while it's on your mind, because every week I take apart a repair bill like the one that woman was handed and show you what's actually true underneath it. Today I'm going to show you why a $300 headlight quote is almost always hiding an $18 problem, and exactly how to tell which one you're looking at before you ever hand over your card. A headlight assembly and a headlight bulb are two completely different things, and almost nobody explains that difference to you at the counter. A lot of shops count on you never learning it. The assembly is the housing itself, the plastic lens, the reflector bowl behind it, the wiring plug molded into the back. That housing is built to outlast the car it's bolted to. Unless it's cracked, melted, or has water sitting inside it, there's nothing in there that wears out on its own. The bulb is the only piece designed to die. A halogen filament runs at something close to 5,000 degrees inside that glass, and every single time you switch your headlights on, a tiny bit of that filament boils away. LED bulbs don't have a filament to burn, but the diodes inside them degrade with heat over the years, the same way a bulb in your kitchen dims and flickers before it finally gives out. Neither of those failures has a thing to do with the housing bolted to your fender. So why does a service advisor point at the whole assembly instead of the $18 part sitting inside it? Sometimes it's honest confusion, especially on newer cars where the bulb isn't a simple plug and play part and takes real disassembly to reach. But plenty of the time it's simpler than that. A bulb swap is a 5-minute job with almost no labor to bill. A full assembly replacement is parts, labor, and sometimes a control module that has to be told a brand new headlight exists. One of those covers a slow Tuesday afternoon at the shop. The other one doesn't. If you want to know which one you're dealing with before anyone lays a hand on your car, run the same test I walk every customer through right in your own driveway. Look at the headlight while it's switched off. If the lens is cloudy, yellowed, or you can see moisture pooled inside it like a fish tank, that's a housing problem, and no bulb fixes it. But if the lens is clear and you can see straight through to a dim, flickering, or dead bulb sitting behind clean glass, the fix costs $18 and takes a screwdriver. Before I walk you through swapping it yourself, if you've ever been handed a quote like this one and felt that same gut check that something didn't add up, put the number in the comments below. I read every one of them, and half the videos on this channel started as a comment exactly like that. Swapping the bulb yourself is one of the easiest jobs on the whole car, and most people talk themselves out of it for no reason. Pop the hood and find the back of the headlight housing. On most vehicles, you'll see a round plastic cap, sometimes under a rubber boot, twisted counterclockwise, and it comes right off in your hand. Behind it sits a small electrical connector clipped onto the back of the bulb. Squeeze the tab and unplug it. The bulb itself is usually held in with a wire retaining clip or a quarter turn twist lock. So release the clip or give it a gentle twist and it slides straight out. One rule actually matters here. Never touch the glass of a new halogen bulb with your bare fingers. The oil from your skin bakes onto the glass the moment you turn the light on, and it creates a hot spot that can crack the bulb or burn it out again within weeks, which is how people end up back at the shop convinced the cheap fix didn't work. Hold it with a paper towel or the plastic sleeve it ships in, line up the tabs, seat the new bulb into the socket, lock it back into place, plug the connector in until you hear it click, and snap the dust cap back on. Flip your headlights on before you close the hood and check that it's lit and sitting straight in the housing. That's the entire job. There's no reason to pay a shop $50 in labor for 4 minutes of work you can do standing in your own driveway. Now, before you go, I want to hand you something I built for exactly this situation, because a headlight quote is never the only one you'll get. In a car's lifetime, it's called the Driveway Mechanic's Money Manual, and it's the guide I wish every one of my customers had sitting in their glove box before they ever walked into a service department. Skip the torque specs and diagrams you'd never open anyway. This one is a plain language breakdown of the 40 most common repair quotes drivers get talked into every year, laid out side by side with what the part actually costs and whether you can do the job yourself in an afternoon. The headlight bulb you just watched me swap is chapter 1, word for word the same test I walked you through a few minutes ago. The rest of the book covers the same trick played out across nearly every system in your car. Shops quote $60 for a cabin air filter that costs $12 at any parts store and takes 90 seconds behind your glove box. They dress up a 2-minute battery terminal cleaning as a full electrical diagnostic. They bill a worn brake pad sensor clip as a caliper replacement because nobody bothered to look underneath the pad first. A service writer can turn a $40 serpentine belt into a full accessory drive overhaul before you've even asked a follow-up question. Each chapter runs through the same 3 questions I asked about your headlight tonight. What does the part actually do? How do you tell in 30 seconds whether it's really the cause? And if it is, what are the exact steps to fix it yourself without buying a single tool you don't already own? No guesswork, no mechanic jargon. You need a dictionary for just what I'd tell you if you were standing in my bay watching me do it. A guy named Curtis emailed me back in the spring after he used chapter 11, the one on brake caliper sticking, to talk a shop down from an $800 quote to a $40 fix he did himself on a Saturday morning. A woman named Priscilla used the chapter on dashboard warning lights to figure out her gas cap was loose before she paid for an emissions diagnostic she didn't need. Those aren't rare stories. That's the whole reason the book exists. Every chapter is built the same way this video was built, starting from a real quote a real driver got handed and working backward to what was actually true under the hood. I wrote this after watching the same scene play out for 30 years. Good people handed a bill built around a part they never needed, with no way to know the difference between a real repair and an upsell dressed up to look like one. You don't need to read it cover to cover the day you buy it. Keep it on your phone or print the checklist pages and toss them in your glove box, because the day you actually need it is the day you're standing in a service bay with 15 minutes to decide before you sign something. The book costs less than 1 hour of shop labor, and most people tell me it pays for itself the very first time they use it, sometimes before they've even finished reading past chapter 3. The link is in the description below this video, along with a discount code for anyone watching this week only. Grab it, keep it close, and the next time somebody hands you a folded piece of paper with a big number circled on it, you'll know in under a minute whether to reach for your wallet or reach for a screwdriver. Now, I want to be straight with you. The same way I'd be straight with anyone standing in my shop, because this fix isn't magic and it doesn't apply to every headlight problem you'll ever run into. If the lens itself is cracked, fogged from the inside, or has visible water sitting in the bottom of the housing, an $18 bulb will not solve that. Moisture inside a sealed housing usually means a broken seal or a cracked lens, and that genuinely is an assembly replacement. No way around it. If your headlights are HID or true LED projector units rather than simple halogen bulbs, the repair can involve a ballast or driver module, and that's a different job with a different price tag. And if you've already swapped the bulb and the same side goes dark again within days, the problem likely isn't the bulb at all. It's a corroded connector or a wiring fault feeding it, and that's worth having a second set of eyes look at before you keep buying bulbs. A cheap fix that gets misapplied just wastes your afternoon. Knowing when it doesn't apply is worth as much as knowing when it does. The woman who came in that Tuesday afternoon drove off with a headlight that worked and $300 still in her account. The only thing that changed between her dealership visit and my bay was that somebody finally looked behind the lens. That's the whole point of this channel, week after week. Before you authorize a repair, look for yourself first. If this saved you money or changed how you'll handle the next quote that lands in your lap, hit that like button so it reaches somebody else before they sign anything. Subscribe if you want a new one of these every week. And if you've ever paid for a full replacement that turned out to be an $18 part, tell me about it in the comments below. Most drivers overpay for exactly one reason. Nobody ever showed them what was actually sitting behind the lens.